Greg, you asked what was the temperature like? What was the weather like? And well, we were there um, in February. That's the rainy season, January, February. If they're going to get rain in Israel, they're going to get that time of year. But we had a beautiful week. It was probably in the 50s and 60s, maybe down in the 40s at night, and 60s, maybe up to 70 during the day. Really beautiful sunshine, blue sky. Um, Except the last day, it was windy, and we were down in Jaffa, where Peter once stayed in the home of Simon the Tanner before he went in Acts 10 to share the faith with a centurion named Cornelius. Also, Jaffa, which is the port from which Jonah set sail when he was trying to run from God. There was this huge storm and wind, just unbelievable wind, and the sea of the Mediterranean Sea was just completely turned up. And while we were there, when we took our boat ride on the Sea of Galilee, we talked about the storms on the Sea of Galilee. And one of the guy who was operating the boat, he said, "This is absolutely true." He said one day a storm came up on us unexpectedly out of the east, with the hot winds coming from the Mediterranean over or the hot winds coming from the desert and the cool winds from the Mediterranean. A storm just came up suddenly. He said we couldn't get our boat docked, and so we had to take people to the other side of the sea. We just had to go with the wind, and so it makes it very real what it was like for the disciples and Jesus when a storm came up on the Sea of Galilee, and these men who had grown up on the sea were terrified by the storm, and they cried out in fear because they knew what these storms could do. And Jesus would just say, "Peace, be still." Or that one of my favorite stories, the story where Jesus is walking on the water and Peter asks to come to him, and Peter takes his eyes off of Jesus, and as he's walking on the water, and he starts to sink, and he cries out, and Jesus is right there to catch him and take him back into the boat. And Jesus says, "Oh, you have little faith, why did you doubt?" And for me, that story is about the fact that in the storms of life, we may sometimes take our eyes off of God because we're weak human beings. But God, our Savior Jesus, He never takes His eyes off of us. I'll try to remember to send you a picture of a first century fishing boat from the Sea of Galilee that they found in the mud a number of years ago when the Sea of Galilee was at a lower level because of the drought at that time. And they've dated this boat. It's the wrecks of this boat, and I'll send you a picture from the first century. So anyway, in the January and February, the weather is rainy and cooler. In the summer, it's hot and dry. Thank you.